Are you tired of your kids living in your basement? Why didn't they move out already? I don't know what's wrong with kids today. I mean, when I was 16, I was at the DMV in line to take my test, right? Today, kids take Uber. They don't even go get their driver's license. And why are they still living at home? Really? If you have that problem, I got news for you. I can help. I'm Eileen Lacerte with Better Homes and Gardens Real Estate, Island Lifestyles. The truth is, most kids graduate from college with so much debt, they can't afford to buy a car or a home. That's why they're Ubering and living in your basement. But here's a way we can help them. A lot of times they are actually out renting, and they don't realize that sometimes they can have a lower monthly payment with buying a house than they are with renting. And here's where you can help them. I have some good news. We are in a very unique time. We have historically low interest rates, and I mean historically low. I've been in this business 41 years. I have never, ever seen rates like this. I'm in the middle of doing a refinance on my own home right now. My interest rate is 2.75. What? What is that? When I got into this business in 1979, you know what the interest rates were? FHA and VA were 17%. Conventional was 19%, and prime was 22%. Guess what? Nobody got new loans in those days. But today, around the country, it's possible to buy a brand new home for $150,000. Not here in Hawaii, for example, but in some places in the country. And I can give you an example of some rentals I own that are valued about $100,000 to $150,000, and again, not in Hawaii. But my renters are paying $1,100 a month rent. They could be buying that house for $600 a month. I don't understand. I don't understand. And maybe it's because they don't know. And here's where we can help them. So why aren't people taking advantage of these historically low rates? Most of the time, it's because they don't have a down payment. That would be true of a college kid, or not even a college kid, anybody today. They don't have the down payment. The easy part is the down payment in this case. For example, let's take the home for $150,000. The FHA, Federal Housing Administration, has loans that the down payment requirement is 3.5%. Now, on that $150,000 home, you're talking about just over $5,000 for a down payment. And, you know, again, take the scenario. They're paying $1,100 rent to rent that house. They could buy it for $150,000, and their payment would go down to $600 and let's say round it off to $700 a month, and they just need $5,000 or so down payment. So how can we get them there? Well, I have good news. There is a way. And realistically, because I live in Hawaii, you're probably saying, oh yeah, you can't buy anything in Hawaii for $150,000. True that, but you could buy a condominium for that. But let's just use Hawaii for an example of, let's say it's $400,000 an entry-level home. At $400,000, your payment is still half to 2/3 what you're paying for rent for that identical home. And of course, you're paying somebody else's mortgage, not your own. And in that case, the down payment would be at the 3.5, somewhere around $14,000. That's not peanuts, but I'm getting there. In Hawaii, there's a tradition when a baby is 1 year old and a baby is called a keiki, there's a huge birthday party. It's a Hawaiian tradition. I think it goes back into history where so many babies didn't make it to their first year. So their first year was a big celebration. And on the island here, relatives all pile in for the huge keiki birthday party. And a lot of people bring money and start the baby savings account. Well, I'm going to fast forward you to now we're going to have your Keikie's first home buying party. We're going to have a GoFundMe for your Keikie's first home. And this is quite acceptable for this FHA loan. Now, they don't call it a Keikie's first home. They call it Home Ownership Bridal Registry. That's the formal name of the program. Well, you can imagine where that started. It probably started with somebody saying, hey, my kids are getting married and I want to gift them their down payment, their 3.5%. And then, and their uncle does, and their cousin does, and so on. So I jokingly call it the GoFundMe for the down payment, but it's basically an easy way to explain it. So these cannot be strangers off the street. FHA has certain requirements. They must be close friends and family. So let's take the case of the $150,000 home where you need $5,000 or so down payment. Could you get 5 relatives to give them $1,000? Could you get 10 family and friends to give them $500? And so on. With the example I used for the Hawaii situation, where the home prices are so much higher, could you get 20 people to give them $500? Could you give 40 people to give $200? You follow me? And again, this has to be friends and family, and no expectation whatsoever that this is a loan or there's any payback. This is truly a gift to get them on their way up the property ladder for the first time. And again, their payments are less than their rent. Hello, where's the question here? Why aren't you doing it? The home purchaser does not have to be your Keikie. It can be anyone. It can be a middle-aged family. It can be somebody who just graduated from college. You can have a GoFundMe for them. It can be you. It can be you buying your retirement home. The point is that as of this filming, the down payment requirement is 3.5% that can be gifted to you. And then you say, oh yeah, but what about all the closing costs? Well, that's something the seller can help you with. They can't help you with your down payment, but it is legal for them to help you with your closing costs. And that's another video for another time. So if you would like to know more about the Keikie First Home Buying Program, or the GoFundMe, or the actual name, the Home Ownership Bridal Registry, I'll put the link to the FHA and the details down below in the comments. If you have any questions regarding the program, my email will also be down below in the comments. If you got any value from this information, hit the like button. And if you would like to be part of my ohana, which in Hawaiian means family, then hit the subscribe button and you will be part of my ohana. Until the next time, aloha from Eileen.